Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here, and in today's video I'm going to show you some crochet work in progress and how to do this rather lovely easy stitch. This is a sweater for a 6-month-old and the pattern comes from Yarnspirations, and I'll link to the pattern in the description below. And it's a really straightforward pattern. It's front with a scoop neck and a back which is just literally a rectangle, and then you've got very simple 2 sleeves which increase a little bit and are then straight. But the point of this video is to show you how to crochet this particular repeat, and it's really straightforward. It's 2 rows of double crochet using US terms, followed by 2 rows of single crochet. So let's get started with a demonstration. So I'm using really lovely merino wool from Patagonia, which I believe is in Chile, and it's slightly lighter than double knitting, but not quite as fine as 4-ply. And so I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook here because this worked up really nicely. So I'm just going to do a very small sample, just a quick chain, slip stitch, and then a little chain. I'll just do a chain of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'm going to do 3 for the first turning chain, and I'm going to work my first double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, insert your hook. Now, because this pattern doesn't have ribbing on it, I'm going into the V of the foundation chain. In other words, I'm going into this space just here, and I'm working all the way across with my double crochets. Just making sure that you capture 2 strands from the chain, like so. Just keep working. There we go. Just do the last few. The first row's always a little bit more tricky because you haven't got anything to hold on to. Just keep working your way to the last stitch, so it's the same stitch all the way across. Now you could work the whole garment in double crochet, but I think adding in 2 rows of single crochet gives a more professional look. So we've reached the last chain, and that I always push the hook towards me and then move it to the back of the work before pulling up a loop. Now we're going to do another row of double crochet. So we've got the 3 chain, which counts as a double crochet, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches. Now I like to chain 2 at the end of each row and then turn. Now on the double crochet rows, you're going to start your stitch not into here, but into this stitch here, because the turning chains sit above that last double crochet from the previous row. That counts, those turning chains count as a stitch. When it comes to the single crochet row, you're going to actually do something a little different. And it's worthwhile checking your stitch count a few times until you get used to where your first and last stitches actually go. That's always the way when it comes to crocheting, is remembering that first and last stitch process. So here we are. We're reaching the end of this second row of double crochet. So I'm going to need to make sure I have the equivalent of 13 stitches. So we've got the turning chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need 2 more. So I do 1 into here, into above the last double crochet, and then I do 1 into the top of that initial turning chain. Now it can be quite tricky to find exactly where to put your hook. As long as you're consistent, that's fine. So it doesn't go in the gap, it goes into the stitch, into the turning chain stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're going to do 2 rows of single crochet. Now for single crochet, we start in this very first stitch. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. That's our first stitch. So let's count them all the way across. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the 13th one will go into the turning chain, so the top of the turning chain. Just push your hook through, do your last stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and remember that the single crochet row starts in that very first stitch just here. So that's the turning chain, that's the first stitch. Whoops. And we'll count 13 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now you're going into that single crochet at the end of the row, 2 chain, or 3 if you chain quite tightly, and now you're going to start your next double crochet row. Let's have a look at the work first of all. So that is the pattern repeat, 2 rows of double crochet, 2 rows of single crochet, and then I'm going to start at the beginning again, and I'm going to go not into this stitch here because this counts as a stitch. I'm going to go into the next top of the single crochet from the row below all the way across. So let's go quickly all the way across and have a little count up to make sure that we end up with 13 stitches. Now for baby garments, obviously counting after every row doesn't take too long because they're quite small. When it comes to adult jumpers, you don't want to be counting the stitches every single row. So it's really important that when you start off, you actually mark maybe 5 stitches from the end and just make sure every row looks correct. Now this one's relatively easy because you're going into the top of that single crochet. chain 2, turn your work, and then as before we're on a double crochet row, so we're going to go into not this stitch, this stitch, so they stack one on top of the other, and we'll just whiz across here. Now if you're making a very large garment, you could maybe check your stitch count every 5 rows, something like that. Take a photograph of where you're placing your hook and refer to it on your phone. Make a note and attach it to your work as you go. That might help you with a little sketch, something like that. Right, we've reached the last one and we need to do our last double crochet into the turning chain from the previous row. Let's check we've got 13 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Great. Now we're on a single crochet row. So you can see that this is a fairly straightforward pattern repeat. Single crochet, so we go into the first stitch and that counts as 1. Then we work all the way across. So there we have it. This is it's a 4-row repeat, but it's 2 lots of 2 and very simple to work. And I think it's going to make a really attractive stitch for all sorts of different garments. Make sure that you don't crochet too tightly and that you keep your tension nice and even. So there we have it. This is my work in progress baby sweater, and it's just finished off round the neck with a few rows of single crochet. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then press the subscribe button and the bell for upcoming notifications of new videos. I wish you a great day. Take care. Bye.